From Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the Indiana Fever played their first home game since the All-Star break, and they hung in for the second straight win over the Las Vegas Aces on Thursday night. The final 80-70 was a game in which they struggled a little bit out of the gates, did take the early lead, and that led to Aces head coach Becky Hammond to make the rare hockey line change. 5 in, 5 out, but ultimately turnovers plagued them in that first half. They were allowing too many easy buckets in this one, and that allowed for the Aces to move ahead by as many as 8 points in that first half. But they really turned it around in that second quarter, especially after what we saw to the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter. I think it was an 18-2 Aces run as the Fever, a storyline we've seen all season long for the Fever, is struggling to stop the bleeding. When an opponent is on a run, got to get better at doing that. And they did, but not till the second half. They even closed the third quarter, an 8-0 run that allowed for them to outscore the Aces by 12 points in that third quarter, and then they held on late. I thought they did a tremendous job with their point of attack defense there as of late. Lexi Hall was all over Jackie Young. Aliyah Boston was defending tough. Natasha Howard had a fantastic overall game, and that allowed for the Fever to move back above 500 with the 10-point win tonight, moving to 13-12 after this win.
Well, first of all, I started off with our defense. Our defense got our offense going, and that's how we maintain games like that. We don't rely on our offense a lot. We rely on our defense to get our defense. When our defense is going, our offense is going. So we limited Vegas to one shot, and that's how we got open shots for shooters inside the paint and everything.
We had some lapses in the first quarter. We had some lapses into the second. And we can't have those. We've got to maintain elite execution on both ends. I thought the second half the ball moved better. Look, there's no defense for turnovers that lead to scores. And I think they had 13 points off of turnovers in the first half. We did a much better job of taking care of the ball, and that's our first line of defense, and we did a much better job of that in the second.
Kelsey Mitchell led the Fever with 21 points. Natasha Howard with a double-double. She had nearly by halftime, 18 points, 13 rebounds, 13 and 10 for Aliyah Boston. And how about Sophie Cunningham as well? 15 points as she's remained in that starting lineup. She talked to us a couple weeks ago saying how she's got to contribute more and she's got to see shots fall. And that has begun to break her way, and that's especially something they've needed given their certain circumstance. The key thing coming earlier in the day on Thursday was an official announcement for the Fever regarding Caitlin Clark's status. She's here. She's around the team after visiting with a couple doctors from across the country and having conference calls and discussions about how to proceed moving forward. Remember, this is all new for her. She's never been injured in her career. Now this, her third significant soft tissue injury, that quad strain, the left groin, now the right groin, and you really need to get a big handle on this. I wrote about it at fieldhousefiles.com about what Sabrina Ionescu advised her after she dealt with something similar, just frequent injuries over her first couple of years of her WNBA career. But it's so important, more than anything, for her to get right. We have not seen 100% Caitlin Clark all season long. Remember, got injured a couple days into training camp, had that preseason game at the University of Iowa. Of course she wasn't going to miss that one, and then just missed, I think, 5 games with that quad strain early on. It was just a challenge, and all these injuries have piled up. I think tonight was her 13th game missed on the season, and they need her back. But in the meantime, they got clarity on the situation. We talked with Stephanie White before the game about that, and I asked her specifically about having that assurance, knowing that now these players can go into these games at least indefinitely, say the next couple of weeks at least, knowing, look, we don't have her. Doesn't matter. We're without her. Let's proceed moving forward. And then Sophie Cunningham talked about it after the game as well.
Yeah, I think that's big. Just the mindset of our group to know that we've got what we've got, to continue to grow and connect in those ways, and not, is she available, is she not available, will she practice, will she not practice, and sort of the disruption that comes with some of that. So there's clarity, and I think that's good for everybody. It's good for Caitlin too, so she doesn't feel any kind of way. She can just approach and attack her rehab one day at a time.
We know that as a team, and so that's helpful to mentally prepare. But I really do think that, if we have Caitlin, great, and we know how to play with her. If we don't have Caitlin, great, we know how to play without her. And I think that's just so important. It gives people confidence that when she is back, you know, they know their role. And then when she's not, they have the confidence to come out there and make big plays for us. And so for us, I don't really think it's something that we think about anymore. For us, it's taking one day at a time, stacking the days. And tonight, I think we did a really good job, not only physically, but seriously mentally, because we have been struggling and inconsistent when they go on runs, and we stopped it, and then we went on our runs. And so that's a big step for us. And I just said it, but it's all about consistency from here on out.
Once again, the Fever hitting on the defense, and that not only getting them back in the game, but holding off a late charge by the Las Vegas Aces. Remember, this Fever team had not beaten the Aces in like 6 years. They had lost 17 straight games, or 16 straight games until this last meeting. Now they've beaten them twice in a row, a team that's won a couple championships, has Becky Hammond as the head coach and such. So that's encouraging win here Thursday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. An incredible crowd. They wore their old but new Rebel uniforms for Stranger Things, that hit Netflix show. The players really love those, and I'm sure fans do as well.
First of all, you're taking care of the ball. We only have, 3 turnovers in the second half. So for me, I just took advantage on the defense and who was guarding me and stuff. I just went out there and just played my game, and also just contributing to my teammates, and my teammates contributing back to me as well. But
and they're a tough team to defend. I mean, Jackie Young is one of the best one-on-one players. Obviously, Asia and what she brings to the table. Jewel as well. And Dana Evans is fast and gets downhill. And we really challenge their pride, their individual defensive pride. You got to guard your yard. You got to guard your matchup. You got to guard 2-with-2 in the pick and roll. We've got to do a better job of locking into that consistently. And I felt like individually, for the most part, we held true to that. There were still some breakdowns for various reasons, but I thought we did a much better job, and we got better tonight.
They're going to enjoy a much-deserved Friday off. Nothing planned for Friday, and that includes me. It's very good for all of us because there was no All-Star break. Remember, they got right back to it Sunday afternoon for the non-All-Stars on this team and got right back into it. Been playing 3 games in these first 6 days out of break. Then they'll travel Saturday to Chicago, where Sunday afternoon, a featured game on national TV, of course, at the United Center. Moved because of Caitlin, but, well, she's not going to play. But nonetheless, Fever at Sky, and the Sky got pounded here tonight, by the way, to the Seattle Storm. But the key for the Fever now moving forward, in their words, is continuing to stack days. The key things they keep reiterating are move on to the next play, whether it's good or bad, and stacking days. They want to build on that and add to some positive consistency, because that's one thing that they have lacked throughout this season.
We have to just understand the urgency and attention to detail that it takes. We don't have the luxury of having breakdowns, of having lapses. We have to understand the sense of urgency that it takes with each possession. One possession can change a ballgame, and we got to understand and value that. And also, we played some heavy minutes tonight, and the challenge is, if you're tired, you got to ask for a sub.
Again, 80-70 was the final. Fever get the win here at the Fieldhouse and will enjoy a nice Friday doing whatever they please. From Gainbridge Fieldhouse, I'm Scott Agness for FieldhouseFiles.com.